Justin Trudeau was not worth the cost, the crime, the corruption, and the cover-up. But now we know that he cannot protect our people or our country. We've just received these documents that Trudeau has been covering up for years. Documents related to a massive security breach at the Trudeau government's most sensitive laboratory, where the most dangerous viruses and pathogens are studied and handled. We have learned that the Trudeau government's head of pathogens was collaborating with members of Beijing's People's Liberation Army who are responsible for bioweapons and bioterrorism. We know now that a People's Liberation Army official was able to gain personal access, walk in the door, look at computers, and have access to all of our most important virological secrets. If you think any of this is hyperbole, read the report yourself. This is from government documents, the Trudeau government's own documents. It says here on page 142, Winnipeg Lab scientist Dr. Chu is head of the Special Pathogens Unit, the top person in that job. According to documents on page 242, quote, represents a serious and credible danger to the government of Canada as a whole, and in particular at facilities considered high security due to the potential for theft of dangerous materials attractive to terrorists and foreign entities that conduct espionage to infiltrate and damage the economic security of Canada, end quote. It states further on page 239. Investigators assessed that Dr. Chu communicated with foreign entities during her trips to China. The evidence obtained from interviews and from information collected from the electronic content of her devices reveal that this is indeed the case. As a subject matter expert with access to sensitive information and dangerous materials, Dr. Chu presents a realistic and credible threat to Canada's economic security when conducting repeated and clandestine meetings with foreign entities, end quote. Then it says Dr. Chu conducted joint research with the Major General Chen Wei of the People's Liberation Army, who, according to page 236, is a noted top virologist at the Academy of Military Medical Sciences and is China's chief biological defense expert engaged in research related to biosafety, biodefense, and bioterrorism. Bioterrorism, end quote. And these are documents, this is right out of the government's own documents. Trudeau, what did he do when he found out about this? Did he immediately inform Canadians of the breach? Did he fire anybody? No, no one was fired. Did he call an inquiry to get to the bottom of it? No, he didn't do that either. Instead, he covered it all up. He defied 4 parliamentary orders to release these documents. When the Speaker tried to get them, he sued the Speaker to cover this up. He said it was all for national security, but well, we know from a committee composed of 4 members of Parliament, including 1 Liberal, and 3 judges, and I quote, the information appears to be mostly about protecting the organization from embarrassment for failures in policy and implementation, not legitimate national security concerns, and its release is essential to hold the government to account. In other words, there was no national security reason why we couldn't have had this before. It was only because Trudeau didn't want the embarrassment before an election. So what did he do then? He collaborated, knowing this, he collaborated with Beijing to buy a vaccine for COVID. Could you imagine if the deal that Trudeau wanted to sign with Beijing had gone ahead and we had procured China-made vaccines after learning this information? That's what was in this guy's head. And if you think for a minute, because I know there'll be all kinds of excuses, well, he's not responsible and how could he possibly take ownership of what happens in his government? Let me quote him. He has a document called Open and Accountable Government. And I quote, as head of government, the Prime Minister has special responsibilities for national security, end quote. It's his responsibility. This is his government's lab. It's not a random university lab. It's the top lab for the Prime Minister's public health agency. And he is exclusively responsible for the machinery of government as Prime Minister of the country. So this is on Justin Trudeau. I will add one last thing. Not only did he cover it up, not only did he try to get a vaccine from China after knowing this, he called a snap election to make sure that the voting would happen before this came out. And what happened in that election? Beijing interfered to help him win it. This is a man who says he admires China's basic communist dictatorship. We cannot trust Justin Trudeau to keep our people and its country safe.
How is a scientist working on high-security viruses at the National Microbiology Lab allowed to collaborate with Chinese government agencies considered a threat to Canada?
A number of years ago, our security systems, our intelligence and security agencies flagged problems at the Winnipeg Labs that were followed up on. We know as a country that increasingly countries like China and others are trying to either influence or get secrets out of our country. And that's why we have to continue to be extraordinarily vigilant about how we're making sure we're doing everything necessary to keep people safe, to keep our research institutions safe. As a government, we've taken many, many initiatives, and I've tasked our National Security and Intelligence Advisor to look even deeper at this Winnipeg Lab situation and make recommendations on how we can move forward appropriately. This is something that people would expect governments to take seriously and expect all parliamentarians to take seriously. Unfortunately, throughout this process, we have seen the Conservative Party, specifically Pierre Poilievre, choosing to spew conspiracy theories and drum up political attacks, partisan attacks, on an issue that, quite frankly, should be bringing Canadians and parliamentarians together to try and solve this. The quickness with which they're looking for partisan advantage is not just undermining Canadians' trust in the system, but interfering with the ability of Parliament to deal with this. One of the reasons it has taken so long to get this report into Parliament is because of the choice that Conservatives made to try and extract any amount of political advantage by drumming up a level of partisanship and toxicity that is not serving Canadians. There's lots of opportunity to have responsible political debates about how we're moving forward as a country and what needs to be fixed, what's being done well, what needs to be done better. Absolutely. That's part of the give and take in our democracy. But the choice to weaponize national security in a way that is rife with conspiracy theories and partisan attacks is a choice that I don't think is worthy of the kind of responsible leadership that Canadians deserve.
I had requested that I be second after, and I have given notice. I had my hand up. I would really appreciate that, Chair.
Sorry, Ms. Khalid, but the meeting hadn't started. I didn't hear your comments
but
because I was talking to the
order,
analyst.
Point of order.
Go ahead, Mr. Housefather, on your point of order.
Yeah, Ms. Khalid clearly spoke before anybody else had their hand up, Mr. Chair. You convened this meeting at a time without consulting anybody else on the committee. And to be honest, I thought that was exceptionally unfair of you. And
Mr. Housefather
clearly demonstrated her request to speak before any of the other people had their hands up.
The gavel had not dropped, Mr. Housefather.
But you were aware that she asked, Mr. Chair.
I was talking to the analyst at the time, Mr. Housefather, and I can assure you that this meeting has been convened in accordance with the standing orders and the rules of the House of Commons. So I am going to start with Mr. Chong. I'm going to keep the list, and Ms. Khalid, you will go when you're recognized on the floor. Mr. Chong, you have the floor. Go ahead.
Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, Chair. I am going to move a motion, and then I will speak to the motion. So I will begin by presenting my motion.
That In light of the February 28, 2024 tabling of the Winnipeg Lab documents, which contained the government's own findings, concluding that the People's Republic of China and its entities infiltrated Canada's top microbiology lab, a national security breach representing a very serious and credible threat to Canada. And given that access to this information had been denied to Parliament and all Canadians by the government for several years, the committee undertake a study pursuant to Standing Orders 108, 3, H, 6, and 7.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Thank you for your indulgence and for the privilege of being able to speak in this committee on this very, very important issue. First and foremost, I just want to... This 1064 is not necessary. It's not urgent. It is not in the mandate of this ethics committee. And Chair, for that reason, I move that we adjourn this meeting.
Point of order.
Mr. Chair, I request a recorded vote on this.
Yes,
Thank you.
that's fine.
Point.
Mr. Chong.
Point of order.
It's
Point
not,
of order, Mr. Chair.
On a
If
point
I
of
just-
order,
yeah.
it's not debatable what Ms. Khalid just...
I just want clarification. The effect of what Ms. Khalid has moved is to shut down debate.
I'm so
That's
sorry,
debate.
Chair,
That's
but
debate.
no, I refuse
That's
to
debate.
let
That's debate, Mr.
this 1064 to become political gander for
Ms.
my
Khalid,
wonderful
I've already
Conservative
addressed that with
colleagues.
Mr. Cooper, and
Thank you.
and for those who are watching at home, this is a dilatory motion to stop the meeting before a decision is rendered. So I am going to ask the clerk. It is non-debatable. Mr. Chong has asked for recorded division, and I'm going to ask the clerk.
Sorry, Chair, it sounds like you're debating a little bit there on...
No, I'm explaining.
on the-
I'm explaining, Ms. Khalid.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay? I'm explaining exactly what's going on here, and that there is no further debate, that you have asked that this meeting be adjourned without a decision of the committee being made. I'm explaining.
Because this is not the mandate of the committee, Chair.
That's your opinion. Go ahead, Madam Clerk.
The vote is on the motion to adjourn the meeting. Mr. Baines.
Yes.
Ms. Damoff.
Yes.
Mr. Sorbar.
Yes, please.
Mr. Hausfather.
Yes.
Ms. Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. Cooper.
No.
Mr. John.
No.
Mr. Ellis.
No.
Monsieur Villemur.
Je suis contre.
Mr. Green.
Je veux pas la motion.
Yeas 6, nays 4.
So the motion to adjourn does carry by Ms. Khalid. This meeting is now adjourned.
We are aware of an information operation targeting the 45th general election on the social media platform WeChat. The information operation was launched by Yoli Yomien, WeChat's most popular news account. Intelligence reporting links the Yoli Yomien account to the PRC, Chinese Communist Party's Central Political and Legal Affairs Commission. The content of this information operation contains story about the Prime Minister, Liberal Party of Canada leader, and candidate in Nepean, Mark Carney. This content has been amplified in a coordinated and inauthentic way. This information operation had contrasting positive and negative narratives, first amplifying Mr. Carney's stance with the United States, and then targeting his experience and credentials. The site task force assesses that the foreign state-backed information operation was intended to influence Canadian Chinese communities and look to mold perceptions about the candidate. The campaign received high levels of user engagement and views, between 85,000 and 130,000 interactions, and an estimate of 1 to 3 million views.
CTV and CBC lied about the Montreal police response to the Leaders Debate chaos. A Rebel News Freedom of Information request to the Montreal Police Service, the SPVM, exposed the lie. Officials confirmed they have no records of any involvement whatsoever. No calls, no messages, no officers. Security inside the debate venue was handled by the RCMP, not SPVM, and certainly not because of Rebel News. But this is all part of a pattern of dishonesty from these people. This isn't a one-off mistake. CBC's own ombudsman admitted in April that the 2025 election set a record for complaints, more than the previous 3 months combined, with the leaders' debates at the center of viewer outrage. Why? Because CBC lied there too. I just mentioned some instances. They claimed our Rebel News billboard truck was breaking the law. It wasn't. They claimed our journalists disrupted the debates. We didn't. We were the victims of the disruption. They claimed accreditation was revoked. It wasn't. And Rosemary Barton falsely told Canadians that remains of Indigenous children had been found. A statement later quietly corrected online to acknowledge only potential burial sites.
You saw Mr. Singh, and this has been his position for some time, to refuse to answer questions. Rebel News in particular traffics in misinformation, facts, lack of facts, and as you heard in that question, which was woven with some truth and some things that weren't true. Yes, there have been burnings of Christian Catholic churches. Yes, there have been remains of Indigenous children found in various places around the country, which she misrepresented.
The CBC ombudsman admitted many complaints were found to have merit. Translation: viewers caught the CBC lying, and the network had to concede it. These people are just manufactured victims with manufactured stories. The debates were supposed to be about Canadians hearing directly from their leaders. Instead, they became about the legacy media protecting their turf. CBC and CTV weren't content to just report the facts, and the facts were interesting enough. They positioned themselves as victims. They smeared independents as aggressors, and even invented a police presence to make their storyline stick. The Freedom of Information documents and the Ombudsman's report prove this wasn't a mistake. It's a pattern. With Prime Minister Mark Carney pledging another $150 million to the CBC on top of its $1.4 billion annual subsidy, Canadians should expect more of the same. A state broadcaster and their friends that manufacture narratives, not news. These liars should be made to apologize, but they won't. Instead, they will be rewarded with more of your money to lie to you some more.